Hello everybody, Frank Macaluso here from Garageaholic, giving you another episode of the N54 maintenance series. Today we're going to be working on charge air tubing, but there is a lot of intertwined video footage in the rest of my series in order to access that stuff. So please take a look at all the other videos in this playlist so that you can see exactly how to remove those things in order to get to a lot of the things we're going to be replacing in the charge air tubing system. We're going to be upgrading to our VRSF large case intercooler. There's 3 different cases. We're going to be going to the middle size, and we're going to show you how to install everything. Thanks, guys. All right, so as you can see in previous videos, we have removed the coolant pump, we've removed the downpipes, but we now need to remove the charge air intake tubing, which is this, basically, because we're upgrading this. So in order to do that, we have 2 guys right there. There's one there, it's a 5mm, and then there's one on the back turbo too, and that one, a little harder, oh here it is, it's right here, but that one here is, I don't know where the, I gotta figure out where the actual unit is, but that guy needs to get removed as well, and then the whole thing just basically comes off and we can install the new stuff. And what is the new stuff, you say? Well, this is the new stuff. This is all laid out, and basically what it entails of is the turbo outlets are right here. Right. This here is a turbo, this is the 1 through 3 bank, this is the 4 through 6 bank. It connects with a VRSF silicone intake tube. Obviously, we're gonna be replacing the 2 O-rings on the turbo outlets. That goes to a 2.5 to 3 inch coupler, which then goes into the intercooler, which is an upgraded VRSF intercooler. From the intercooler, it goes to an elbow, goes back down to a 2.5, down from the 2.5, goes back up to a 3, and then goes through the charge air right into the intake manifold, where it's gonna end up getting met with the blow-off valve. This is a tile blow-off valve, and that gets installed right here. A lot of this is gonna be plug and play, so it's not gonna be very difficult to do. But while we're working on the downpipes and while we're working on the coolant pump, I want to install the charge air tubing. It's the most effective way to do this and go about doing this installation. So you're gonna have to forgive me and you have to watch the other videos that involves the removal of those components such that it makes the removal and installation of this a lot easier. So I have a feeling this is gonna be a very slow and painstaking process to remove this, but it is going to be that way. That guy goes like that. Oh, maybe I can get it with my hand. Oh, I can get it with my hand. What do you know? There we go. Just get it loose. I actually would like to get it removed completely. It's just gunked up with so much dirt that it's like, hard to get to. You just remove the whole thing. I might have to reuse these clamps, so I have to be careful. There we go. All right, see that? Nice and loose now. Now let's get the back side. In order to remove this guy, I've determined I need to remove the motor mount bracket. It's not that it's hard to do, it's just that it's another thing that I have to do. I really wasn't in the mood to really remove a freaking motor mount, and it's actually gonna be a little bit harder than I thought. So I gotta take those other 2 bolts out, and then the motor mount will drop out. I'll remove this, and then that'll actually make it a lot easier to remove it, and then I can install the new charge air tubing on top of that. I was correct in my assumption. There's 1. There's 2. That means that this should basically come out. There it is. Okay. And the charge air tubing is out. So this is interesting. The hookups, actually, when you compare the old to the new, the hookups on the turbos are quite different, which is why I now understand why they put 2 new O-rings here, because these O-rings fit into this groove right here, all right? And the opening, the air inlet tubing, the outlet tubing actually, is much larger than this. Look how much bigger this tubing is than this, allowing for so much more charge airflow to go through. This tubing is only as large as its smallest opening, right? So this is the opening size, but look at the comparison of the two openings. It's crazy. So the way that this fits in is it basically butts up right up against it, just like that. And you use the same clamp on there in order to get it installed, but the O-ring is what mates to the surface of the outlet of the turbo. And yes, these are stock turbos, and my customer is going to end up upgrading these later, but for now, this is a really nice upgrade. I think this is going to be a really nice improvement in power. So let's get this installed and go from there. I'm sorry, I just have to stop and do this in real time because it is so satisfying. Putting these O-rings in was so intelligently designed. I thought it was just gonna like float in there and I was gonna have a problem getting this thing installed and the O-ring was gonna fall out, or how do I have verification that the O-ring is staying in there? My gosh, man, the tolerances on this groove are so close that you can literally push the O-ring in and it kind of snaps into place. It just sits there. And it looks great. Like they could have literally put this in for you, but I think that they wanted you to install this yourself so you can understand the quality of the kit and see how it actually fits and like pushes right on in there and stays there. So this installation is gonna go a lot easier than I thought just because of the O-ring signature. So yeah, very happy about that. Okay, so I got everything connected right there. You can see this guy is tight and this is good. I tightened both of these hose clamps, or the T-handle clamps as they're called, and this guy is also tightened up. So now that the entire passenger side of the Charge Air is done, now I can get the motor mount back on and then we can start working on the intercooler stuff. Moving ahead with the Charge Air system, we need to now connect the Charge Air tube that goes down here, it goes down below, and then it goes down into the intercooler. So we don't have the intercooler installed yet. We have the one Charge Air pipe coming from both turbos coming down there. And I want to get the other one routed all the way down into there so that we can install the intercooler at the same time, getting both of those sides connected, and then we can mount the intercooler to the rest of the radiator bracketry. So I'm having a lot of trouble getting it from the charge pipe down through, and I think I figured out exactly how it goes on. What I realized is that getting this silicone tube over this jacket is really hard, and it would have been really, even almost impossible to do it while it's in the car, getting this side and this side done concurrently. So I've decided to put the silicone intake on that guy, and I'm gonna do the same on that one, and then I'm gonna bring the whole thing up, because it's easier to get, it's just gonna be a lot easier to put this guy in. Actually, it's gonna probably be like that, I think. And put that guy on that side too, and then get the intercooler installed, finish up the Charge Air tubing that way. This is really difficult to get on. You can see how much it's stretching just on that. So, I mean, it's good. It's good to have, like, close tolerances and everything, but really difficult to get it on. Kind of have to really muscle it in. Under the car here, I want to pop this up and see how it's going to fit. Okay, so this guy is not going to fit on here that way. I need to put this piece, the silicone, on this first, just like I did here. And then the fitment on the other side doesn't look too bad. I think maybe just getting that elbow in early might be the trick. And then this guy, this hole here fits right in there. And the same thing on the other side, right here. This hole here fits in there. So what I want to do is I want to bring this back down. I want to put the clamps on here. I want to put a clamp on that guy, and then I want to bring it back up, screw it on, and I think I'm going to be in good shape. So close. So this side actually looks like it's in, but I need to get it in further. But this side looks like it's in. I need to bring this hose clamp up and tighten it down. I have access to that bolt right there. And this guy needs to line up with that, like I said earlier. This one's a little bit more difficult. This side has a kink on the back side that you can't see, that the hose is not going in. So what I need to do is bring this down just a tiny bit and then kind of rearrange this guy and try to get it on, because it's not going on. So I can't do that with one hand. I got to do it with two hands. So yeah, I'm going to keep on trying and I'll get it on. I'll get it. All right, I was able to get it. I had to rearrange things and move things around, but I got that in. So this is tight. That's tight. This is tight. That guy is tight. This guy is installed with a washer. This guy is installed with a washer. The only tube that's not tightened up is the one up there, and I need to do that one right now. So we'll bring the car down, I'll get that one tightened, and I think I'm just about done. All right, now that guy right there, right here, is tightened up. That's tight. Basically all the charge air now is tightened up. So that's it, guys. Everything for the intercooler setup is done. Now there were a couple of lessons learned here. First of all, the O-ring that goes on the tile blow-up valve, you gotta stretch it just a tiny bit so it fits around the O-ring groove, because without it, it's gonna keep on slipping off and make it really hard to get that on. The second thing is, from the turbos, it goes to the 2.5 to 3 inch, then it goes to the intercooler. From the intercooler, it goes to the 3 inch to 2.5 inch 90 degree, then it goes to the aluminum bend, the 90 degree bend, and then it goes to the 2.5 inch to 3 inch 45, and then it goes into the charge air tube. So I kind of learned that a little bit more on the hard way. The other lesson learned is for the installation of the bolts into the plastic housing. Use a longer bolt, okay? The bolts that the screws that they provided were way too short, and I ended up stripping just the inside of the beginning of the thread on the plastic housing. So I used much longer bolts, and it worked way, way better. These threads are way better. Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, really cool setup. Looks good. Hoping it's gonna perform. And we'll find that out on the test drive, guys. That'll be in part 5, where we do the test drive and we figure out how well this thing actually works and if there's any issues on my first installation. You guys check out all the other E90 maintenance series videos. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. There's tons more here on this, and I'm hoping that you learned something by doing this. This is a very difficult install, relatively difficult install. So I'm hoping that maybe by you watching it made things a little bit easier. Guys, thanks a lot. I'm out of here. Later.